Hey, fellow cycling family and friends, I just want to tell you how gorgeous you are today, and I hope you have the most amazing week. Now, it's December, and I hope you have your gear list ready and sent off to Santa. You're a woman, this is totally for you. The 4-week cycling skills workshop benefits all women. These skills can be implemented immediately on the bike and trainer, cycling outside, indoor cycling, on a spin bike or Peloton. All your current frustrations and questions will be answered, guaranteed. If you're interested in joining me, don't wait another moment. With this link, you can get started at the beginning of each month. I know you're trying to decide whether or not to check out the 4-week cycling skills workshop for women, but I don't blame you. There are so many other online cycling training platforms that offer cycling routes and training sessions, but here's what makes my 4-week cycling skills workshop different. First of all, it's taught by someone who's not just starting out, but actually is pretty experienced. I've been working with free clients in my cycling club, Cycle Fit Chicks, all the way to Canadian national female cyclists, and I continuously update my coaching tactics to help beginner to advanced cyclists level up with these cycling techniques hardly anyone is talking about. Secondly, the 4-week cycling skills workshop for women is so much more. A lot of times there are online cycling training programs that teach you how to train intensely, but actually don't help you develop the fundamental cycling skills and techniques such as gear management, hill climbing, strength, power and speed, and nutritional timing in order to effectively become a faster, fitter, and more efficient cyclist and well-rounded athlete. And also, there are very few courses about cycling that actually teach you how to develop a smooth, efficient pedal stroke. The 4-week cycling skills workshop for women aims to fill both these gaps in cycling training. Not to mention, the workshop provides the recordings of the explanations, demonstrations, plus homework. In addition, you will gain access to a library of over 100 strength training workouts to help you level up, and that is all on top of the core curriculum you already get when you join the workshop. So it's safe to say I'm delivering incredible results coaching over 1,000 female cyclists through my cycling club, and now it's even more exciting to impact more female cyclists globally through my 4-week cycling skills workshop for women. You can't go wrong when you join a workshop developed by a woman for women. It's time to level up and remove the frustrations. So if you're ready to join, just click the link that you see and secure your spot today in one of the next 4-week cycling skills workshops for women sessions. Now, before the new year, with this amazing deal, a 25% off until December 31st. Limited spots available. Don't wait another minute. Click the link and enroll today, and I can't wait to see you on the inside. All right, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Secrets from the Saddle, All Things Cycling podcast with your host, Sylvie Dow. And I have this really cool guest. Her name is Bethan Bertrand. That's the French way of saying her. She's in the UK, and I found her on Instagram. And the reason why she's so amazing is because she's a cyclist and she also has a Macaroon business. Okay, so everybody knows what Macaroons are. If you don't, go find her. Her business is Siixteen, so that's SIIX Macaroon on Instagram. Welcome, Bethan, to the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me here. It's really exciting.
I know. We took a while to get us together, but I'm super excited because I love finding cyclists who are doing really cool things. And that's why we're following each other on Instagram. And I'm like, hey, so I looked at she's a cyclist. And then, she's got a little, so I'm like, hey, would you want to be on my podcast and talk about your business? Now, as we get started, I always like to ask how you got into cycling. And then we'll talk macaroons and sweets later.
I would never have put me down as a cyclist at all.
Come on.
But there were things in my early life, when
Mhm.
I was little, that kind of, I suppose, were little signs that I would end up with a bike, because when I was about 8 or 9, all I wanted was a road bike. It's a racing bike. You kind
Mhm.
of you take your cycling, we call it cycling proficiency in those days at school. And I
Oh.
remember all I wanted was one with drop handles, because I wanted to go as fast as I possibly could. It was like, that was all I cared about. And so I got a bike thanks to my mum and dad. They got me my first bike. It probably wasn't my first, but my first proper bike.
Yeah.
And I would cycle. And where we lived in Derbyshire, it was Derbyshire in England, so it's very hilly. It's the Peak District, beautiful part of the world, and there's lots of cyclists up there because it's like proper challenging routes.
Yeah.
And I'd go from one village to the next, and I wouldn't think anything of it. It was just a normal day-to-day kid thing that you do. And then I kind of grew out of the bike because I got a pony, and then the bike was just like never to be seen again.
You got a pony?
I abandoned the bike for
Usually people
years.
get cars, but you got a pony.
I got a pony.
Yeah, and I bet your mom's like, you better sit on that pony.
Oh yeah, no, it was like, it's your pony, deal with it. Yeah. So it was fantastic. So for a lot of time, there were a lot of years I was very much committed to the horses. That's what I loved. But then
Oh,
I moved to London with, grow up as a student in London. There's not a lot of ponies in London. It's not something you can just
or
take with you and put in
places,
your
I
backpack.
imagine.
So, I started riding the bike to and from the university that I was at. Just got used to pedaling, I suppose, and didn't think anything of that either. And then, had kids, and I'd pedal the kids, the little carts that you pull the kids in the back. They'd be
Mhm.
uphill, and I'd be like grinding up this hill with a mountain bike, which is heavy anyway.
Yeah.
And but I was getting stronger and stronger and stronger without even realizing it, I suppose. And then an awful lot has happened, but a friend of mine, in that time, there's like all sorts of things that happened, but we won't talk about that. But a friend of mine said, do you want to do a charity event with me?
Oh,
It's a through the night charity event to raise money for cancer awareness in women.
through the night?
Yeah, so it was like, that for me really appealed. I was like, wow, it's nighttime, it's going to be dark. And
Mhm.
actually, because I hadn't really thought it through, actually, because the bike that I had at the time, it was like an old Dutch bike. It's got a basket on the front. It's really heavy. I've still got it. And I just thought, yeah, I can do that on that bike. It's 100 kilometers. It's not going to be a problem. And so I was on the beach in Spain, and she was in the UK. And I said, yeah, let's do it. And then, well, actually, my back went at that point, so I wasn't able to do the ride, but they said, well, we'll defer it to next year. So I deferred it, ended up doing it on my own. But in that time that I was training, I went out on my bike, my old Dutch bike with the basket on the front.
Uh-huh.
And I remember going down a hill, a very steady, couple of percent steep hill. I was going down the hill, and I remember pedaling quite hard down the hill to keep moving. And this guy in the opposite direction whizzed past me up the hill without pedaling. And I thought, I think I'm on the wrong bike here. He's like, no effort whatsoever going up a hill, and I'm really pushing down a hill. So I thought, if I'm going 100 kilometers, I'd gone 5 kilometers and I was dead. Yeah. So I was thinking, if I'm going to go 100 kilometers, I think I need another bike. So
A
I have
different bike,
started
yeah.
a bike. Yeah, I was very lucky because this friend of mine that had asked me to do the ride in the first place, she had a friend that was selling a bike. So I bought that bike, which is still my bike now, my beautiful
Oh,
piece. And that's how I got into it. So I started, the first time I ever rode this bike, I just thought a bike was a bike, it was something with wheels, and if it looked pretty, I kind of liked it. And if I was comfortable on it, it had a nice squishy saddle, that's what I wanted. I was all about the comfort of the bike. So yeah, it was when I first got this bike, which was built for a 6'2" man, so it's a big frame, far too big for me,
yeah.
with cleats, and I got all the stuff. At least I was looking all right.
Is that the
Didn't
bike
know
you
how
bought?
to ride it.
Oh, geez. Now, did you do that event on that bike?
That big
I
bike,
did the
or
event on the bike. So the event was in May, and we're now talking February the 14th is when I got my bike. It was on Valentine's Day. And so I still had a bit of time to get used to this bike. And so I had to practice cleating and uncleating. I was so afraid of the cleats of kind of falling off the bike. I had my saddle really low. So I was like a frog on a bike, you know.
oh no.
My knees were sticking out. And about 2 weeks afterwards, a friend of mine said, "Oh, you know, if you've got a road bike, I cycle with a group of people, you know, a cycling group. Why don't you come with us?" So I was like, "Oh, that'd be fantastic. That's like I'll get proper help." So
You're like, okay, let's put your saddle up first before you even start anything.
Well, see, this is the thing. So I started cycling. Literally, I had the bike 2 weeks. I couldn't even stop falling off the bike. Every time I stopped, I couldn't uncleat, so I'd just topple off. And so it was only 2 weeks into having this bike. I cycled with this group. They were so kind to me. You know, they were just like, "Do you think your saddle might be a bit low? Why you got it quite so low? And do you know what cadence is? And have you ever heard of kind of watts and how about drafting? Do you know what drafting is?" And I was just like, I didn't have a clue about it was seriously bad. But with just a few weeks of them kind of giving me lots and lots of support, just lots and lots of information, and putting my bike to the right height, the saddle to the right height, put my saddle forward, we dropped the handlebars, and we shortened the stem, and we kind of got it all right for me.
Oh, awesome.
You know, with all of this help, it just became amazing, and I was flying. By the time it was May, that was it. I was in love with it, absolutely obsessed. I couldn't get enough cycling in. It was
wow. So how long ago was that?
That was 2018, so not very long ago.
Oh, not very long ago. Wow.
No. So that was really my first kind of you know, I'd been on the bike, as I said, pulling the kids. I had the mountain bike, and I was like with my upright. But it's not the same, you know. It's just like you use a bike because it's from A to B. But the real love is the sport of the road racing, the road bikes, and you know, all of a sudden discovering, which has been there forever, the Tour de France and all the different, you know, all the different huge events that are happening throughout the world with road races, and it's just spectacular. So
did you get in?
Really good. Huh?
Did you get into racing yourself? Have you tried any racing events? Or
so I did, and well, I did a few sportifs, and so 2019, I spent whole of 2018 was really just being on the bike and getting really strong, and everybody going, "Wow, you can cycle quite fast." And when it goes to downhill, I'm just like, point the bike down the hill and go as fast as you can, and I love that. And so I was getting from A to B quite fast, and so I entered quite a lot of sportifs. And in this country, I mean, it's not like the Alps, but you have some really steep areas where the hills, you know, they're proper challenges. And then I did the Tour of Cambridge, which is the qualifying race for the UCI, the World Series.
Oh, really?
Unfortunately, I got a puncture, but my friend, she qualified. We did it together. She was fantastic. Kirsty Tulloch, she's fun to talk with. You need to talk with her.
Oh, well, you can set us up.
So that was really good. And I did the Red Bull 25-hour race 2019 as well, which is this weekend. It's this weekend. So anybody that's on Strava, you might be aware of it, but it's on. You can be part of the event on Strava. They're doing a Strava
charity.
No,
or they're
you can pit yourself against the teams on a Strava.
Oh, I just got on Strava, on Strava for the first time today.
Oh, really?
And I
How do you exist without Strava?
No, sorry, not Strava. Zwift.
You're Zwift.
No, I'm on Strava. I've been on Strava for a while now.
Yeah, so you can go on Strava. You can, I mean, basically on Strava, you can do what they're doing on the Strava. It's not the Zwift. I'm sure you can probably do it on Zwift as well. But they're checking out all your miles and how fast you're going and how long you're.
Okay. Yes.
Over 25. So whoever can do the most amount of miles in 25 hours is the winner, basically.
Oh, really? 20.
Yeah.
I don't, so we were just talking about adventure racing and multi-day. So this is like multi-day throughout the night. Like,
yeah.
And I used to do, I just remember all those overnight, either trekking throughout the night, cycling throughout the night, paddling throughout the night, like kilometers and kilometers, like just
never ending, isn't it?
Yeah. And there's strategy of, like you go hard for the first 24 hours and that kind of separates the whole field. And then the strategy of like sleeping a little bit here and there sets in and it's just like, oh my gosh.
When you did an event like that, did you find when you did an event like that, you'd have a strategy, but then the weather might have completely...
No, you just go through the weather. Really? You don't stop until you finish. Like, honestly, that's the way it rolls. So you have to be smart. You have to be trained. You have to take, pace yourself, have the right equipment. Like it's really like, eating, drinking, you don't want to bonk, like there's all these things because things like that will just stop you. And, but that being said, I am actually looking at multi-day gravel races. Not overnight, I don't think. And I talked to my girlfriend.
How long are the races then?
I just did my first one. It was 8 hours. Wow, an 8-hour gravel. Yeah. So it was a circuit and you had to do as many. So it was a 27K circuit. So you had to try and get as many of the loops done in that 8 hours. You had to finish it before the 8 hours was done. So I got in 5. I was 7th out of like 36 women. And that was my first ever coming back and doing something like that. So I don't know. My girlfriend was talking to me about 24 hours, just going back. And I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe I can do that again. Like outside is fine. Like if you pace yourself, because you did that overnight one. Did you do it by yourself or?
No, I was part of a team. So my friend did it. She did it solo for 25 hours.
Okay. Yeah.
She's completely nuts and amazing. But
I think it had to be nuts.
Yeah, completely. But I did it part of the team, but we both had the same problems in that the weather was so shockingly bad. So when everybody pitched up the day, so it started at 2 p.m. on the Saturday day, but we had to pitch everything up in the morning at 6 o'clock in the morning on the Saturday. So the rain is torrential coming down. There is like the wind is so strong. People had kind of put these gazebos up, these huge, like proper industrial gazebos, and they blew away in the wind. It was that strong. And so as we were racing and tents were flying everywhere, it was just pandemonium. I mean, it was weird. It was fun for the first like 2 hours until you got on the bike. And then all of a sudden you've got these headwinds coming at you at like 100 miles per hour. And where we are, Windsor, there's parts that are quite exposed. So you're battling against the wind thinking, I don't like this very much. And when it got dark and it got cold and the rain was coming down and it was windy and the rain is in your face, and we got puncture after puncture because all the gravel on the road and the surface just became horrible.
That's the worst.
Yeah, so I was riding with a puncture like the whole, because you have to do a whole circuit. You can't, you have to walk the rest of the circuit if you don't want to ride it. So my poor bike, I was just like, I don't care. I'm going to ride to the end with my puncture. And I had to do that. So all of our plans, with all the best will in the world, kind of went out the window because if you've got a puncture, you need to fix it. So the next guy has to go, even though he wants to sleep for 3 hours whilst you do your bit, And
be like, sorry. I know. it's fun having a strategy, but then at the end of the day, it's really what's going to happen.
Our strategy, we thought we were being really smart. We were like, right, we know we can cycle hard for 3 hours. We know how fast we can do however many loops. We practiced it, and we were like, we knew we were going to be good. And then we didn't even consider any punctures.
So how did you do at the end of it all? Because everybody must be experiencing the same stuff.
Well, I think that there were 22 professional, or 23, something like that. There's quite a lot of professional teams in it, you know, like Ineos, like proper, all the big teams were there. And then they were all like university teams. So everybody was the age of like nil. They were like 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds. Yeah. I was a team before, we were a mixed team. And there was a 17-year-old, a 22 or 23-year-old, and a 34-year-old, and then there was me, you know, the guys, and then I was the token woman.
Yeah, you have to have one woman, right?
Yeah, and you know, we did brilliantly. I can't remember where we came, but we didn't do too bad. We were like, I don't know, 50th, 60th, something like that. Underneath 100.
Oh, wow.
Which
of all the people,
I think there was like 200 or 300 teams there, so we did pretty well.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, we did quite well, but not down to, it wasn't down to me, it was down to the young guys.
Oh, well, you know, sometimes it's mental capacity. Yeah, sometimes it's the mental fortitude of
and I think
finishing those races.
You know, it was really, really close. The amount of laps, it literally went on the times. So, you know, there was like the first like 40, 50 teams were really, really close. So that was quite exciting. It's quite good to see all the stats afterwards.
Yeah.
But, there was a lot of amazing teams out there. It's like, wow, these guys are really good. And
like, I'm just glad I'm here. Yeah.
It was fun. The music was great.
Yeah. So how did you get into your business? So you're a cyclist. You've been doing macaroons for how long? Let's talk about your business.
Very recently. So when I started cycling, I was a designer. I was designing shutters inside beautiful houses in Ascot.
No way. That's cool.
Yeah. And I was trained as an artist, looking for a kind of quite artistic job to kind of carry me along. I've got kids, so I just wanted something to do. But it wasn't what I wanted to do, so I left quite recently, and my father died. I remember that. Life became suddenly very precious, and I thought, why am I wasting my time doing something I don't really want to do? Right. So that I was with my mum, and we just came up with the idea of making macarons, because everywhere I've ever looked for them here, it's really difficult to find them. And we were sat in a bar in Spain and having lovely, delicious macarons, thinking the colours are beautiful, kind of look like my paintings. One day I'll have to. Have you seen my paintings on Instagram?
No, can you show us one?
I can't now because I'm not set up to, and I'm rubbish. I am rubbish with technology, but I'll send one to you.
Can you just show one with your phone? Are you on your phone or your laptop?
No.
Do you have one on your wall?
Not this wall. I'm on my laptop. Which, yeah. At the moment,
all right. Well, send me a couple pictures and I'll add them.
Pictures, and then you'll be able to see. But they're kind of, colors are very similar to the macarons. There's a real kind of swap over. It kind of translates into the other. Right? Everybody that knows me is like, oh my god, your macarons, they remind me of your paintings.
Really?
It's a very similar process for me as well, mixing the paint and mixing the macarons, same kind of consistency. I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. And anyway, so I set up this macaron business in 2019, in October 2019, the same week as I did the Red Bull race. So it was all really
my gosh, really?
Yeah. And it was full on. It was so full on for a long time. And then COVID struck, didn't it? So it's just been weird for the last 2 years, but it's been brilliant as well, because has your
business kind of flourished? Everybody's going to order Okay, you say macarons. I say macaroons.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. Lots of people do. At first, I was like, oh, it's a macaron. But now I'm just like, you know what? It's fine. Macaron, apple. No, was it potato, tomato?
Potato, potato. Tomato.
That's the one.
Macaron, Macaroon. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, people know what we mean. It's fine.
Oh,
But a
you were an
macaron.
artist as well?
Yeah, I'm a trained artist. So I was at the Royal Academy and the Slade School of Art, which is part of the UCL. And I
Okay.
started at Chelsea School of Art. So I've done 3 of the biggies in London. Yeah.
Wow. So, okay. So you were doing indoor window dressing. Is that what you like, curtains and stuff? Is that what you did before?
No. So you know, plantation in this country, we have these things called plantation shutters, and I'm sure you know what they are. They're like wooden slatted shutters on the inside, and they're kind of very New England, you know, these beautiful big houses. We call them very New England style. It's probably completely different in America.
I don't think
Maybe
we
you call
have
it like
them.
British or African or something. I don't know.
I don't think we have them.
Oh, they're kind of white, and they're inside the house rather than outside the house. And we dress them on the inside, and they're like slats that go up and down.
Yeah. So I've seen those outside houses, but usually on the outside of the window, and not necessarily would they ever cover your window. They're just on the outside of your house.
So we have them on the inside.
Oh.
So it's become like this big kind of fashion to have them, and they're very good because they cut out that, you know, that you can diffuse the light. Lots of people that can't sleep with any light at all in their bedroom, they can shut these shutters, and you know, there's no light.
I
It's
like
fantastic.
that. That's
and
neat.
Also they're very sound, and you know, they keep the cold out, because it gets very cold in this country. So they keep the cold out, they keep the heat in, they keep the light out or the light in, you know, all of this. They've got lots of, and they've got great curb appeal, because from the outside of a house, they look amazing, very smart.
Oh, so probably much nicer than a set of curtains.
Yeah, exactly. Which gets dirty, they get damaged, you have to replace them after a few years, they smell.
Yeah, I'm just looking at my curtains. I'm like, they kind of half cover my huge window. I'm like, I really need to do something about that, because from the curb, it doesn't look very nice.
Oh, you need shutters.
The size of this window is like 8 foot by
Nice.
It's 8 by probably 6. Like, it's a big window.
Big window. Wow. But everything's big out there. You're so lucky. Got space.
Well, it's a basement window, so it's just like, I'll show you after. And and the thing is that I have this black it shuts out the light, so I look back so I don't get all the shine on my face. And anyways, it looks really horrible from outside. But in any case,
but it does its job.
It does its job, and you can tell when I'm like on an interview, because it's like right beside me. Otherwise, I try and hide it, so it's out of the window. But anyways, okay, I'll just show you, because we're just sitting right here, so everybody can see. Everybody can see. Okay, I'm in the basement.
But whereabouts? In what area?
I'm in Quebec, Canada.
Okay. Yeah.
So here, I'm just going to try and, okay, so there is. So
it looks so hot and sunny.
No, this I move. See that?
Ooh.
There's my hot tub.
Chickens.
There's the chickens. All of them. Yeah. So I cover this when I'm doing an interview. So you see the light difference? Yeah. I look a little tad better with that. Not right now.
Okay.
It's cold. It's
funny.
It's warm with the sun, but it was really cold this morning. And we haven't So
when you say cold, how cold is it? What degrees?
5. We haven't hit frost yet.
Yeah.
All right. So how did you move from, okay, so you and your mom decided to do macaroons?
Well, it was just me. I had the conversation with my mom in Spain because we were there on holiday. And but yeah, it was just me that decided to do the macarons, basically because I wanted to do something that I'd always dreamt of doing, which was
like baking.
Not baking as such, because I'm not a baker, and I'm not great at cooking. Like, you know, I'm not a chef by any stretch of the mark. I just love making things, and I think I always wanted to have a chocolate shop, be a chocolatier, and give people, not just because I wanted to make, but I like the effect that giving something sweet to someone has on them, you know? And so you see that kind of joy, and you know, you can turn someone's day from being a bad day into a good day. And I've always thought that's really, really important. And some people can do it with wit and humor. They have this incredible kind of sensibility, and they have this amazing sense of humor. And my daughter has it, and they both do. My son and my daughter, they have an amazing sense of humor, and they can just turn somebody's day with their humor. I haven't got that gift. So I kind of thought I'll make it instead. But yeah, I think that is more than anything is the ability to just change someone's day.
So how complex is it to make a macaroon? Because they're very delicate.
Yeah, when I started, you know, I kind of thought it's going to be like baking brownies. You know, you'd shove it all in a kind of a glass dish, mix it all up, bang it in the oven. I thought, job done, it's going to be fine. And I didn't know anything about making macarons. And my first batch came out like little almond poos. They were brown, and they were like literally like this shape with a little peak. Yeah. And we took them out the oven and was like, that doesn't look like a macaron. I was like, try again. So I tried again. And my second batch, they were perfect. I mean, they were great. I was like, wow, job done. This is easy. What's everybody on about? And then, my God, I failed and I failed and I failed. I literally cooked thousands and thousands of macarons before kind of figuring it out.
Okay, so who got these macarons? Did you give them away?
Oh, yeah, I had such good friends for so many weeks. It was like everybody would come over for cups of tea and glasses of prosecco, and there was always somebody around here eating. It was great. So it was a good time. Although I had tears. There was blood, sweat, and tears, because you pipe them out beautifully, and on a mat they look amazing, and the colors are fantastic. So they're very visual, and they look great to photograph as well. So they were turning out brilliantly. And then I think putting them in the oven, but then you look at them in the oven and you think that's not right, that's not working. And it hurts, it physically hurts when it doesn't work, because I don't know, it just does. It's going to taste good, but it doesn't look, these macarons are, part of the expectation is that they're beautifully smooth, and they look perfect, and they're beautifully colorful. So if they're all cracked and wrinkly and looking like disheveled skin, it's not a good look,
I see what you mean.
Yeah. So there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but finally, I think, grit and determination. I think it translates when you're on a bike and you're doing a race, or you're doing a sporty, and you've got a big mountain to climb ahead of you. It is blood, sweat, and tears that gets you up it, and you just grit your teeth and you just do it, and it's that determination. And it was the same kind of with the macarons. It was a big mountain to get over, a big hurdle, having all these fails and not quite getting it, but it was just like, no, keep going, stay determined, stay doing it, stay focused, keep going, keep going. And it's with the cycling. I stopped cycling after that Red Bull event. I was really poorly, like really, really poorly. And I didn't get back on the bike for about 18 months. I mean, I did, but not properly training, 3 or 4 times a week. And it was only this summer that I got back on it to train again. And in that time, I put on loads of weight. But you kind of think, oh, it's going to happen really quickly.
Okay, you were eating the macaroons. That's the problem.
Yeah, it was. It's just consistency. If you keep doing something, keep doing it bit by bit, incrementally, you just get better and better and better, and everything falls into place. Even if you're not trying very hard to kind of make that happen, and you're just having fun along the way, you just naturally get better at whatever it is that you're doing. So whatever happens on the bike, it's exactly the same for everything else, I think.
I think so. Yeah, for sure. So what made it perfect? Was it a recipe? Was it a combination of stuff? Was it your oven?
That's my cat, by the way. Sorry, the cat. I have to let it. He's so moany. Just bear with me. He'll be knocking on the door to come in a minute. There's a number of things. So it can be you have to measure out the ingredients very, very accurately. And to this day, I still have fails, and there's no rhyme or reason. I don't know whether it's the eggs, whether it's the heat of the oven, although all of these things are consistent. The only thing that's not consistent is the hen that lays the egg. So, you know, you're measuring it out, but you don't know how much of the protein and the albumin and all these different things that are in the egg.
Oh,
white,
wow.
You know, all of that has an effect, or how cold it is, or how hot it is when you're doing the mix. So yeah, sometimes I still have fails, not quite as bad as the kind of little poos that I had at the beginning, but you know, sometimes the shells crack, and it's like, why has that happened? You know, I've like just had 100 bakes and they've all been fine, and then I'll have one that cracks. You know, so they're very fragile to make. They're very difficult. Most people give up. They're like, I can't bother doing this. You got to be crazy. You got to be nuts.
But are you developing a name for yourself in the neighborhood?
Yeah, I mean, you know, to do something in the area where it's quite niche, there's not a lot of people that do it, but there's an awful lot of people that like macarons. So, you know, they know where to come now, which is fantastic. And I'm starting to do quite a lot of events, so weddings, baby showers. And I'm off to do the Formula One at the end in Jeddah.
What?
I know. How exciting is that? I'm just like,
You're going to it, or you are preparing
I'm going
macaroons
to
for it?
So I'm going to be working there. I'm actually going through the macaron business. I got to know someone that was just like, oh my gosh, you can do the Jeddah event. So that's how I got it, through doing the macarons, because they use, for their events, they use my macarons. But because I'm quite bossy at these events, I'm like, right, this needs to be there. That's, you know, you need to do this. That is, and it's like, right, you can go and do this. So I'm just working with the fine dining at the Formula One in Jeddah, which is really cool. And hopefully while I'm there, I'll be able to bake a few macarons as well. So
and network.
So it'd be amazing. Yeah, once the hospitality industry is amazing, because it is a network of people, and everybody supports everybody. It's brilliant. Love it.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I can't imagine. I hope you have business cards ready. Start passing them around.
I better add, hadn't I?
You better have some.
But there's a lot of cyclists as well in Formula One. There's lots of people that love the cycling, which is also really cool. So I've got
just like, is Formula One, that's cars, that's race cars.
That's race cars. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you do Formula One over there?
We do. Yeah, in Montreal.
Yeah.
I've never seen or gone to one, but
no. Well, I haven't either.
Oh, well, now you have. Now you got like front row seat. My gosh, that's amazing.
Well, I don't know. I said to my kids, I'll probably hear the cars, but whether I actually get to see a car is a completely different thing, because I've got to be like busy in the kitchen, you know. But we'll see. We'll see. It'll be fun.
Can I get out in the pit and check out all the teams? Hand out my cards.
Well, it might just be like, you know, these people out there want feeding.
Yeah, that's.
Oh,
but like, that's exciting. When are you doing that?
I'm flying out on the 26th of November, so shortly, not long. 26th.
Ooh. Oh, 26. Okay. Got about a month.
And the actual race, I think, is on the 6th of December. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah, 10 days.
10 days.
Yeah.
You'll be there.
Yeah.
Cool. So what is the future? Where do you see your, like, next year? Do you have specific goals, either for your cycling or your business for next year?
Well, yeah, both. I think in terms of the business, I'm hoping to grow it more into doing pop-up events in my local area, and hopefully taking people on that can help do the pop-up events, because they're really fun. You know, putting on afternoon teas at different venues, but really exciting venues. So not your normal kind of hotel where you'd normally go, but like a barn somewhere, or a seaside, you know, just a beach somewhere, or something just really alternative, you know, and then selling tickets to those things. Really fun.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Do you have markets?
Huh?
Do you have markets as well, like Saturday and Sunday markets?
Yeah.
Things like that.
We do. So yeah, so I would quite like to do more of those, so grow in that way. get into as many businesses as possible, you know, supplying them, helping them out with the macaron side of things, afternoon teas, because it's such a tradition in the UK. It's a lovely tradition that we have. And with the cycling, just more and more race. I want to, you know, getting back into it, I just want to race again. Just little ones, you know, not anything big, nothing like really important, but just for the fun of it. You know, I like that buzz. I like the training. And
do you have many, like, do you have like a cycling series that's local to you, or would you have to travel for some of those events?
Well, the
Or is it fair? Is everything? Yeah, so I was to say,
you know, so even if something's like, you know, 2 or 3 hours away, it's only 2 or 3 hours away. So yeah, nothing's very far away. So it's pretty easy. And there are events all over Europe as well, which still isn't that far away. It's a bit more expensive, but you know, it's not too bad if you're organized and if you know people that you can stay with.
You stay with. Cut the expense down. Yeah. Yeah. I'll take your couch.
Basically, just like you cook. If you can cook for me every night, then you can stay.
Yeah. All right, that's a good compromise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brings my cookies. So, well, that's awesome. I am so glad that we connected. And so would you have any last words for our audience when it comes to, I don't know, going for goals, just like you went for, you kept on going towards your dream of making macaroons and making them, perfecting them?
I think what I've learned in the last year or so is to just be consistent and to keep going at something. And, you know, I always used to beat myself up if I didn't do something. And now I don't do that anymore. I've started to be kind to myself. So it's just being consistent. And if there's a week where things don't happen or you're too busy to get out on the bike, it doesn't matter. It's like you just pick it up again the following week. As long as not too much time passes, you keep going, you keep going, and you keep going. Even when you don't feel like doing something, just do it anyway, because you'll feel so much better afterwards. And for me, I think that's the key, is just, you know, no matter how much you don't want to do something, just do it anyway. And I think it's the fear of doing something that puts us off more than the reality, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just do it. Just my motto in everything is just do it. Even if people try and put you off doing something, just do it. Because it's always awesome and you always get surprised. Always.
Yes. And I think it's a little bit of regret if you don't do it.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day. So where can everybody find you and your company?
Yeah, so I haven't sent you all my links like you asked for. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. But you can just mention it. Like, where are you? Are you on Facebook, Instagram? Where can we find you?
You can find me because Bethan Bertrand, or Bethan Bertrand, is a very unique name. It's part Welsh, part French. So I think there's only one of me. I think there's a Bethany Bertrand in California or something, but there's not many of us. So you can find me on Facebook, Bethan Bertrand, Strava, Bethan Bertrand, Instagram, Bethan Bertrand.
That's good. It makes it easy.
It's very, very easy. You know, type in Bethan Bertrand and you will find me on any platform.
And what about your company?
And my
Macaroons, everybody wants Macarons. Where are we going to get them?
Macarons, you will find me on LinkedIn, Bethan Bertrand. You will find Siixteen under that. But if you want to find me, it's www.siixteen, spelled with 2 I's, so it's siixteen.co.uk. And LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, siixteen.macarons. So yeah, I'm on everything.
I know you have to be.
Pinterest, Twitter, TikTok.
Oh, hey, Pinterest. You must be there.
I am there, but I haven't used it yet. So my daughter's just introduced me to it, saying, right, you need to do Pinterest. This is
I love the daughters. Yeah, okay, so I'll pay you to put me there. So don't talk to me about it. Come take some pictures and then put me on Pinterest.
I need to let her roll with it all, because like her on social media, she's brilliant. I haven't been on it for ages, hence sending you all this stuff.
That's who you're going to pay right there.
Yeah.
Keep it in-house. So I wanted to ask you.
That's what she tells me.
Yeah, for sure. Keep it in-house, because otherwise, you have to explain it to everybody else and they don't understand. And she's right there beside you. She can film you doing all the work. Oh my gosh, just brilliant. So how did you come up with the name Siixteen before we leave? I was just thinking
that's a really nice question, actually, because when we decided to do it, so it was my first holiday away without my dad, because he just passed earlier that year. And it's a nod to him, because my dad had designed the house. So we had this house rebuilt and redesigned on the inside, and it was all down to my dad, and he helped, and helped everything. We wouldn't have it without my mom and dad. And so when I set up, we were thinking of the name, and we were thinking, well, I'm going to be making the macarons at home. It's in the kitchen, so it seemed fitting to call it. I live at number 16, so it was just like, let's call it number 16. And so it was really my dad, and the two eyes. We wanted to put a little roof on it because he loved everything he did. He was an architect, and he loved these iconic. He loved the classical structures. So is it ionic or iconic? Iconic. The pillars. The classic Grecian pillars and things like that. I should probably know more about it. I really don't. But he loved those. So I kind of thought the eyes were like the pillars, and we put a little roof over the top. And I didn't, but that was the plan at the time. So it was a nod to my dad.
It's there. That's always because there's the double I. I was like, maybe it wasn't available. Because
that as well.
Sometimes you're like 16. How that's probably taken, but if it's a double I, then that makes it unique.
Well, it looks nice as well because it's very Roman numeral, the way it's written. It looks really nice.
Yeah, the double IX. What is that? Is that what number is that? Oh, neither of us know. Okay, everybody, what's the double IX in Roman numeral?
Maybe it isn't a number because there's X double I is 12, right?
Yeah. Oh, maybe. All right. Somebody's going to tell us.
Anyway, somebody will know. Somebody will know. If my son was here, he'd be like, why do you know that?
Yeah, just a second. Let me check it out. But so that's where you can find her. And if you're in the UK, close to Berkshire.
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 Berkshire. Yeah, in Berkshire. So Berkshire is a county.
Yeah.
And probably far smaller than anything that you're used to, but it's quite a small county. Very beautiful. Visit Berkshire and you can get in touch.
And you'll find her. All right. Well, thank you so much, Bethan. And thank you to our listeners for jumping in and taking in this episode. I hope you reach out. And since it's close to Christmas, this might be a really great, nice little surprise for someone underneath the tree or at the table. So make sure you get your orders in now. With that, don't forget to follow both of us on Instagram, and don't forget to follow the podcast, and please share, and have yourself an amazing day. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, Sylvie. Bye-bye.
Bye.